Hey YouTube, hi, how's it going? It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Especially from this view. Well, anyways, today I'm just going to be showing you probably my last paper sword as far as making them. I will get tutorials, possibly, for some of them, because I really am just sort of enjoying the LARPing stuff a little bit more because you can actually do stuff with them. These just sort of sit around and collect dust. So, probably am done with these. I might make tutorials for some of the old ones. Some of them I don't remember how I made them because I didn't write it down or anything. I just kind of made them and just was like, well, that's cool. So we'll see. I might, but I might not. We'll see. I probably will, but if it is, it'll be definitely a while because I'm very busy right now. Anyways, yeah, I'll get there. And also, with this one, please do not ask for a tutorial because there's too much time it takes to make this than it's actually worth. There's no real need to have this. It's just a piece of paper, and you know, I mean, it's really more complicated than I'd like to get into. So anyways, with that, just kind of moving on from that. So you remember I had the whole Final Fantasy swords and stuff like that? Yeah, well, I wanted to make one more just to see if I could, and well, I think it came out pretty well for what it is. I mean, I wanted to just kind of have one more just pretty much to see if I could do it, and here it is. It is the most ridiculous Final Fantasy weapon, most people claim, and I agree, it's a very good one to say that takes that spot. It is the Gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII. Not 13, this one's from 8. So, it's odd, to say the least. It's very peculiar. You can, if for people that are extreme followers of getting things right, you will know that this is not quite perfect. It is not quite perfect. There's supposed to be a lion design here and a keychain. Now, there's a few things about that. One, I did not want to try and draw that whole thing out on either side. That just seemed a bit much to me. I did not put a chain on this one like I did with the Keyblade. I can make chain, as you've seen before, and you know, I can do stuff like chainmail and all that. That's not hard, but for this one, I thought it was a little delicate to be getting into that, and I really didn't want to risk messing it up after I got so far. So I didn't make a key chain for this one, and I think it looks fine without it. I mean, you know, it's a Gunblade, and I don't really need to worry about that. This does not turn. It's just two pieces of paper that are on the end of it, so that doesn't really turn. There's not a trigger because if it doesn't work, then I don't really need to put a trigger, and frankly, if I had one, this wouldn't really look right. It would not really translate well enough. Though, it worked out pretty well besides that. Getting it pretty much, before you people ask, I'll tell you pretty much what happened, how to make this, so that way you won't have to ask for a tutorial. I'll give you that much. If anybody feels the need to try to make this, alright, that's what it looks like. Use this for reference. Essentially, unlike the other swords, if you followed them, where you're folding paper into flat tubes and then cutting them off, this one, if you look really closely, is pretty much just layers of paper. It's really just flat pieces of paper. So I drew out pretty much the shape of the blade alone, and it extends about that far into the hilt or so, right about where the black part of the hilt covers it, I'd have to say. So this goes out about that far, and this is just like a stick. So that's pretty much what you'd want to do for that. Just draw this out and keep making layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and a few more layers of it, and you'll end up with this, and it'll be relatively stiff. And to be honest, that's the exact same thing you'd want to do with this part too. You'd want to pretty much starting from here to here. This is all one piece. Well, in a way, in a manner of speaking. You'd want to cut a notch out that will perfectly fit this one, so it's pretty snug. Not so that it's tight, so you have to force it together, but just enough that when you put it there, it will, you know, just hold it enough that you can put some glue on it on both sides and then hold it there. And so this is the same thing. You draw out a shape that looks like that, and you just do that until it's that thick, which takes a very long time, I will tell you. So you'll just, pretty much what I do for that is you draw out the shape once, and then you cut it out, then you take that one sheet, you glue it back down onto the paper. So if you have like a normal piece of printer paper or so, I don't have one on me right now, draw out the shape, cut that shape out, glue it back to another part of the paper really close to where you just did it, so you want to just right in the corner, and just keep drawing that, cutting it out, drawing it, cutting it out, and gluing it back to the paper over and over and over. And doing that it'll work like a stencil. The more layers you have, the easier it'll get as well. The first few layers is always the hardest because you want to make sure you get a really clean thing. Once again, you want X-Acto knives for this, because scissors, you're not going to be able to get all that detail with a scissor. You could try, but it'll be very difficult. It'll be much easier just to use something like an X-Acto knife, because trying to get niches out like that, trying to get this out, you'll not be able to do that with scissors. Getting all this detail, cutting that out, you really want something that you can just, you know, cut the paper with. Anyways, so just keep doing that. To make the revolving part that doesn't revolve on this, you'll want to take some paper and just roll it into a tube until it gets as thick as you want, cut it off, and then you'll want to glue it on the way. It was weird. I'm trying to remember what I did. I can't quite, so I'm trying to explain this how I think I did it. Yeah, I rolled a tube of paper so it was very, very tight, and I mean ridiculously tight. After that, I cut that in half, so I cut the tube in half, more or less. Yeah, just in half, that'll do. Cut it in half, glue both ends so that it holds it together and the face, and then you just glue that where the blade and this meet. So this would be the last part you'd put on. So the blade would be first, then you'd make the hilt just to save time, fit the two together, glue them together, and then stick these on. Actually, no. Do these afterwards, after you put the silver and the black paper on this. These are both origami paper as well. This is not tinfoil. Don't use tinfoil because gluing that will not work for you so well, because this has to glue straight onto this. And tinfoil, I don't think normal glue sticks to it. It might. I haven't tried it. So if it does, do that. If it doesn't, don't do that. Yeah, so just make these after you've already put these two parts together and put the paper on it to make it look metallic and a little bit more finished. Put those on it before, and this is another thing. You'll want to do the same thing to these. Before you put them on this part, you'll want to put the foil on it as well. Just because trying to cut out something that will fit over that and get the bottom here, doing that would be very difficult if you tried to do that after it's already been attached. So you'll want to make all the pieces and finish each piece before you assemble it. That's roughly what you'd want to do. This one, though, for these two, just put them together, then put this on. Just before you put it together, just have these ready. Something like that. It'll just make your life easier. Alright, so that's the tutorial and video for Paper Gunblade. I hope you people like it.